Hey guys, let's get started with our new tutorial, and this time we're going to explore Edit Poly. Edit Poly is one of the most fun ways of modeling, and it helps you create some super complex geometry. When I open my 3D Studio Max, the first thing I like to do is set up my project folder. So go to File, Project, and just say Create Default, and just make a folder by the name Mijolnir, and make another folder inside called Max Project, and simply select folder. Once you've done that, you will get a folder which have many other subfolders. So the first thing first is scenes. This is a very important folder. This is where you should save all your scene files for 3D Studio Max. Then you have scene assets, images. This is where you're going to save all your textures. And then you have downloads. This is where you're going to save all your external material. Now when we talk about external material, I have this illustration that I downloaded from the internet, and you can see it's a pretty good image that helps us understand the shape and design of the Thor hammer. And what we are looking for is a front view, a side view, and a top view. Alright, and 3/4 just for reference reasons. So you're looking at something like this. Once you have downloaded this image, we can bring this image inside 3D Studio Max and then start the modeling process. The first thing I like to do is hover my mouse on the file, and you can see the dimensions, and it says 1600 by 1245. So in 3ds Max you want to invert these values while creating a plane. So here's how it goes. So from the front view, I'm going to create a plane, go to modify, and get rid of all the segments right here. Once the segments are removed, we are going to input those values in here. Now if you go for 1600, you will get a massive plane. You don't want something like that. So we're going to work with some decimal numbers. Now one thing to remember, as we agreed, we're going to invert the values, okay? So 1245 by 1600 is what we want to go for. So once again, 124.5 into 160. That's how you want to create this image. And as you can see now, we have a perfect scale. Now we can easily just simply drag and drop this image on top of the plane. And what we'll end up getting is our texture inside. So once you have created this or bought this image inside, the first thing you want to do from the front view is let's select this model and bring him to the center of the world. So x-axis center, and that should be good. I want to bring it up here, and I also want to rotate this with my angle snap on. You can press A for angle snap and rotate this 90 degrees precisely. So I'm going to mount this right here and bring this to the center. So what I'm exactly doing, just to zoom in and show you now, is I'm trying to bring this as my front view and this as my side view. Okay, so when I'll be modeling from here in the front view and modeling from the side view, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds. So this is my front view. Now you can see on the left view, I'm going to select this and rotate it 90 degree holding shift. So I'm making a copy, as you can see, and then press OK. Press F3 so you can see the smooth view, and then you might want to bring this right here in the middle. There we go. We're done. So technically what we'll end up getting is something like this, which is pretty awesome. And then I'm going to bring this here. So you'll end up getting something like this from the perspective. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, push this behind. I'm going to take this, push this behind. After you've done that, you get enough room to work on your model here in the middle. So this is what you want to do. The first thing is set up your planes. Now the last piece of the puzzle to finish the plane setup is select both of them, because you don't want this moving around when you're modeling, because if you land up moving this by mistake, it will create problems for you. So we're going to select both the planes. We need to lock them. So right click, object properties, and in here you want to just say freeze, and also uncheck show frozen in gray. Press OK, and now you can see your object is frozen. No matter how much you try, you cannot select it, and this will never disturb your modeling process in any way. And at any moment, if you want to unfreeze it, you just right click and just say unfreeze all, and now you can see it unfreezes the model. So this is the way you're going to make sure that your model or your image planes are set perfectly. So with that, let's move on to the next part, which is the modeling bit. So for the modeling process, it's going to be very simple and easy, and it's one of the most fun models to create. So first thing that I'm going to do is from the front view. Right here, I am going to create a box because this Mijolnir looks like a box. So we will create this box right here. And done. So once the box is created, go around and check how it looks. So in the front view, it looks great, but let's see how it looks from the side view. So let's go check from here. This is my left view. And from the left view, you can see it doesn't match, so we are going to bring it here. You can also press Alt-X on your keyboard so that you can see through your model. And there we go. And you can see from the side view, there is a complete mismatch. So we are going to increase the height to match it perfectly. So that's the process here. So now you can see from the side view, it looks perfect. From the front view, it looks perfect. So this is going to be our first step. And then you can see in perspective view as well. That looks beautiful, perfectly placed. With this done, we can now start our modeling process. So now we're going to convert this object to editable poly. Once you have converted this object to editable poly, you will have vertex, edge, border, polygon, and element. The shortcuts for them are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to hit these numbers to toggle between these subtools. To start the modeling process, I'm going to select this and this polygon. And first thing I'm going to do is do a quick inset. You can simply do an inset by holding Shift and scale on these two axes. And as you can see, I'm trying to match this section right here. And once that is done, the next step to do will be extrude. We want to pull this shape out. So we're going to press this extrude button and you'll get this menu right here. And you can control the extrusion amount. We just want it till this point, as you can see, nothing more than that. So once again, using this menu, I can control the extrusion amount and hold it right here and press this button so the extrusion is complete. The next step would be to scale this in this way. That's it. Now when we look at it from this view, we have already created a very beautiful shape for the Mijolnir. The next step would be to select, double tap on this and select all the edges. So as you can see, just double tap and select all the corners, double tap, select all the corners, and here. I'm also pressing Control to make sure that I select multiple lines. And then you can simply go chamfer this thing. So the chamfer settings are right here. You need to press this button and it will allow you to chamfer this object, as you can see. And that's the final shape that you want to accomplish. And you can match the shape from the side view, as you can see, and make sure there's no unnecessary segments. So I usually zero this out. Don't worry about all the settings right now. You just need to be concerned about these two and press OK. And there you have it. You have your basic shape of the Mijolnir ready. The next thing we'll do is we'll add some more advanced details. And for that, we'll have to first select this polygon, and right here. I will do the same on this side. Again, I am holding the Control key while I'm selecting these polygons. We're going to do a quick inset here. Again, hold Shift and drag, or you can simply use this inset option right here and do a quick inset. Okay, just a little bit of inset, and then finally I will do another extrusion. So I'll go to extrude settings, but this time instead of scaling or extruding outside, I will extrude on the inside like this. So that gives that extra detail inside. Okay, so this is where we can put our engraving and press OK. And there we go. That is pretty awesome. Now, the next tool that I want to introduce is Swift Loop. Now, Swift Loop is a pretty awesome tool when it comes to modeling, adding lines. So, how to use a Swift Loop? Swift Loop is situated right here on the top on your ribbon. Just take that. Swift Loop will allow you to add lines wherever necessary. As you can see on my screen, I can add lines wherever necessary. So this is very important to add all these additional details right here. As we can see in our design, we have this extra detail. So we're going to create that now. So from the front view, I will press Alt-X to see through my model. So this is very crucial. And then I am simply going to add one cut here, another cut here, another cut here, and another one here. I will also add one more cut this way. Finally, I'll go to my vertex mode, select these two lines, or see these two vertices, I apologize, and then bring them up here. So now, this was essential, otherwise we won't be able to create this shape. So this is the reason why I had to do it. So once this is done, the next thing to do would be, I will select all these polygons and simply extrude it. Now you must be wondering that I did not get this same shape on this side. Don't worry about it, we can symmetry that part, so it's not a big problem. For me, my biggest concern is this region right now, okay? So I will primarily focus on that. I can even deselect that, I don't need it. But the top area, this corner, and this is what I want to work with. So this time we're going to go and press extrude. But this time you're not extruding on the inside, you want to extrude on the outside. But we're going to change our extrusion type from group to normal. There we go. So in that way, the extrusion looks a lot better and it goes in the right direction. Once again, let's see the difference. If you go with group extrusion, you see this shape looks a bit off. So that's why we need to switch this to normal. And then reduce the length a little bit and press OK. Once you've done that, you should have this detail created very instantly. Next step would be to create furthermore details, which are, or the last bit of detail, which is at the very bottom, as you can see, these ones. So to create them as well, we're going to select our model, again, Alt-X to see through. And now we are going to add another line here, another line here, and finally another one this way. So once this is done, we can easily select these side of the polygons and simply extrude them again, but this time not on the outside, but on the inside. That's it. I'm keeping my extrusion type to normal again and press OK. And finally, as you can see, your Mijolnir model is ready. It looks pretty nice. It's really good on this side, but on this side we don't have the same details. So what I will do is I will simply symmetry this part to the other side. And to do that, we have to apply a modifier called symmetry. So we will change our axis, not on the x-axis, not on the y-axis, but on the z-axis. And then simply select the mirror and move your mirror inside. Check from the side view so you have that perfect placement. And there we have it. Our model is ready. Now we will go and start with the handle. The handle is the most easiest object to create. It's going to be the fastest object as well. So to get started with that, we will simply start with a cylinder. And again, we will start from, again, doesn't matter whatever view you create the cylinder from. I just created from the top view just to show you. But as long as you go into the front view and match the placement of the cylinder, as you can see, right here. Again, I'm doing it slow and steady so you guys can see how this process works out. I'm going to press Alt-X. I will reduce the number of height segments. I don't need them. I will reduce the radius to match this design, as you can see. And then we will increase the height. So it looks perfect from the front view, but also let's check from the left view. So from the left view, you can see the handle is sitting there. So we will bring it right here. Make sure to match it as close as possible. And that's the placement of your handle. Now we have this as well as that object right there. So instead of trying to remodel it or recreate another cylinder, I'm just going to make a copy of the cylinder and paste it there. Reduce the height of this cylinder because we don't need such a massive cylinder. We will convert this object to edit poly because here we have to do some modeling. So we are going to start the modeling process, which is a very fun and simple process. We're going to just simply select all the vertices on top, move them up here. and scale them to match the shape. So that's the fastest way to go about and get the shape done. Now using the Swift loop, I can just cut here and do another cut there. Take this and move it up a little bit to match this design. And then finally, I will select this polygon and control double tap on this polygon. It will select the entire loop for you. Or you can select it this way and deselect these parts. Okay, so once again, control, click, double tap, and it selects the entire loop for you. And then extrude it on the normals and do it on the inside, not on the outside. And there is your fine detail for the hammer. And we will simply recreate this piece as well. And again, have a look from the front view as well, see how things are looking. And I like the way everything's looking. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'll take this cylinder, make a copy down here, and then zoom in, reduce the height. Or you can simply start from here as well, however you prefer. So once the height is reduced, let's adjust the radius so we match this. Right click, convert to editable poly, and then we will start shaping this thing. So select all the vertices on top, scale this out, move it here, and then you have a polygon here. We're going to select that, hold shift and drag this way, hold shift and drag all the way there, and scale it to match the design. Once that is done, you're going to select this entire loop again, and we will simply do an extrusion, not on the outside but on the inside. Increase the amount if needed. So we want to change the way it's extruded. We're going to go with normal again. Remember, normal allows you to move in the right direction, which is quite helpful. And there we have it. This is going to be our base of the Thor hammer. So let's just make this not see-through anymore and see how this model looks so far. And you can see it was a very quick and fast process. The last piece of the puzzle is I want to go for those details on the handle. To get those details on the handle, we can use any kind of object, but in this situation, I will use a torus. I think torus would be quite a fun and easy object to work with. So here's my torus. Now I want to quickly bring this torus on this object here. So I will use my align tool, which is sitting right up here. So in order to use the align tool, you're going to select the torus, use the align tool, and then target this object on X, Y, Z position. From pivot point to pivot point, press OK. So you see now this is precisely sitting in the center, which is quite nice. Now from the front view, it's easy for us to go and adjust the shape and the size of this torus. So we're going to go to modify, reduce the radius first thing, reduce the radius number 2, reduce the radius again. So you have to just match the radius first, bring it up here. So now you see it fits precisely on the surface, which is quite nice. Now we're going to convert this object to editable poly. We're going to make it see-through again, and we're going to turn on our vertex, select this, match the shape. You just have to move this down. Again, select these vertices, match the shape. And you see it's the most easiest and the fun part of the process. Match the shape. That's all you have to do. Now you see, this part could be a bit difficult or annoying because when you select this, you might also land up selecting these unwanted areas. So when you move it down, you might land up damaging the shape. So in order to avoid that, this is a good time to switch to edge mode and simply double tap on this edge loop so it selects the precise loop. Once again, double tap on this loop and simply bring this down. Now just be careful while doing that. You also have that piece on the back, so I'll just make sure that I select that carefully as well and bring it down. Now again, if you find it difficult, you can also symmetry this part. Remember, you can just work on one section and symmetry the back side, so you don't have to worry about doing this 2-3 times again and again. And again, like when you're working in a 3D workflow, it's important that you guys explore your own techniques and come up with your own ideas and stuff, that how can I make a certain design go faster. So those are the areas you guys should also explore. And as you see now, my detail is ready and it looks pretty awesome. And now back in the front view, I can simply start to make copies of this particular object. So the fastest way for me to make a copy would be, I'm just going to take this object, go to my element mode, and this will allow me to select the entire object, hold Control Shift and drag. Control Shift, drag. Control Shift, drag. And then I'm going to select all of them, Control Shift, drag. So this way, you will land up creating your copies very quickly. There, and we have finished our model and it looks pretty nice. You want to add some now finer details. Now, when you look at this piece right here, it looks nice and everything, but the problem is it's extremely sharp. Now, we don't generally recommend having such sharp models in your workflow. We always recommend you to sharpen your models, soften your model. So first thing for this model, I'm just going to increase the sides, which is quick and fast. Maybe something around 54 should be good, so that should give me a nice smooth model. And you can see the handle looks quite smooth, but this one does not. So what we are going to do, we're going to go to edge mode, double tap, and or simply go to a modifier called chamfer. So this way you can easily control now your chamfer amount. So just reduce your chamfer. I think it's a bit too extreme at the moment. And now you can see it's also chamfering many unwanted areas, which is a bit annoying. Let me just change the color to show you. And you can see it's chamfering some unwanted areas, okay? So we can easily control that just by going down and working with the minimum angle right here. So just increase this value. And once you increase that value, you can see that has resolved my issue. And now I can add one more layer of segment, and just to check, it looks quite nice. So I'm going to bring back the segment down. And finally, I'm going to give a turbo smooth and increase the iteration to 1. And that looks like a beautiful soft model, as you can see. So this is how you can create some cool details. Now, of course, you can continue modeling if you want to. If you want to create some crazy details around here, if you have the right reference, it's perhaps a good time to do a quick inset like this. Again, this is pure experimentation. You can get creative with this design, push that in and scale that a little bit. So you get some interesting shapes like this. And simply go up here as well, and I will do one quick inset, so just to ensure that everything, and then I'm gonna do one quick inset and another quick inset, so that will make it even better. And there we go, that's my final look for this model, and you can see it looks beautiful now. So that's again with Edit Poly, Chamfer, and Turbo Smooth. Similarly now, we're gonna go up here, fix this piece underneath as well. So this is quite nice. But again, it's very, very low poly, very basic. We need to make it look beautiful, okay? So first things first, let's just finish this and inset one more time and do the same here. Inset one more time, and there we go. And finally, you want to add a chamfer again and control the amount, lower the amount. You want to make sure that these lines don't overlap each other, because the moment they do, it's going to look really bad and your model is going to go crazy when you apply Turbo Smooth. So you need to always ensure that they are controlled. So you have to observe on every angle, every slope, to ensure that they don't collide with each other or overlap each other. And there, final, done. And now I'm going to add a Turbo Smooth, increase the iteration to one more level, and we have a beautiful looking holder right there. So we're going to do the same for this object. For this object, we don't need chamfering because we don't have to soften the corners, but what we can simply do is apply a Turbo Smooth, and this is pretty much done. This was the fastest. And let's just quickly color code as well. I like coloring things as I go, so let me just isolate this. I'm gonna give this a gray color as well. And this handle, I'm gonna give like something like a brownish color for now. And this piece right here, I'm gonna give like a golden, the most closest thing to golden, whatever it will be. I'll just use this for now. I'll press OK. So here we have it. We have our basic looking Mijolnir. Now, furthermore, if you want to push your skill set, we can also do a cool leather strap right here, which is quite a fun process to do, and this will definitely help you learn a lot of modeling. So from the left view, what I'm going to do, as you can see, this is my left view. Now this is again pure imagination. You don't have to, you don't need a model sheet for this. Again, you can get creative. Now for this process, I'm going to start with a plane, and I'm going to create a plane from the side view in this fashion. And I'm going to give this plane also a brown color, so again, just to represent the leather. Go to modify. Now, as you can see, if your plane has lines inside, you want to eliminate them. You don't want it. You just need a single piece of polygon. Okay. Right click, convert to edit poly. Now, let me show you this fun part about a plane is that you can select this line and you can hold shift and start dragging this shape out however you prefer now. Hold shift and drag. So this is the process we're going to engage ourselves in, but before I do that, I also want to make sure that the placement of this leather strap is correct. And that's it. Now from the front view, with this lower piece of the plane selected, I will go from the front piece or front view and simply start creating this extrusion process. Now just because of the visual cues, you can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to do it from the perspective view. But it'll be nice if you do it from the front view. You don't want to move it on the y-axis or from the z-axis or 3D axis, whatever view you're working with, but I'll just keep on shaping this however I prefer now. So I'm just trying to create like a nice leather band loop kind of a thing. And again, this is something I can always fix as I go, so which is never an issue for me. So I'm just going to hold shift and drag, bring it all the way there, and one final extrusion inside. There we have it. And I can always tweak the shape in the front view. As you can see, this is pretty much what it looks like at the moment. And yeah, I can just go in and start shaping these dots properly. Also, just to show you how it looks, this is what it looks like at the moment. Let's just move that in, and this is the kind of a shape I've created, which is very interesting, but not 100% yet. So yeah, the next thing that I would like to fix on this piece would be to make it look like a leather strap. It's very thin, as you can see. I will add one swift loop. Now, when you add a swift loop, because I want to make sure that this is nice and curved. So when you hold shift and add a swift loop, you see it automatically shapes it as well, which is quite nice. So we don't want to add too much, but yeah, this is all I wanted. I needed like a clean shape like this. Now, and also one more right here. So we have a clean shape. So with this done, the next step would be to add a quick turbo smooth. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to give a level 2 iteration. And finally, I'm going to add a shell modifier. And this time the shell modifier will not be on the outside, but on the inside. So it gives that nice thickness. And yeah, now finally, if I just want to make any final changes, I can just go up here, you know, tuck this in properly so it doesn't look like it's floating midair or something. Or maybe like bring it in a little bit like that. So there we have it. Push it up here and done. One more, this side, and finally this side. And there we have it. We have our Mijolnir ready, and yeah, you can start the unwrapping process and prepare this model for texturing. The last thing I forgot to add will be the top area. So as you can see in your design, you should always refer to your design. Please remember, you have this cylindrical structure. Now again, creating that structure is very simple. All you want to do is just do a quick cylinder right here, align the cylinder with this object XYZ, center to center or pivot point to pivot point, doesn't matter in this case, and bring it up here. And that looks terrible. We're going to align this again. This time we won't do pivot point, we do center to center. There, and that should have bought this precisely in the center. This is something what you're looking for. Go to the front view and then reduce the radius and reduce the height. So let's just position it right first and then reduce the height. You can press Alt X to match it, and there we have done this right. And the final piece of the puzzle would be, let's just lower the sides. We don't need so many sides here. I'm gonna give something about 18 for now. I know it looks low poly right now, as you can see, but again we're gonna do chamfer, and this will elevate a bit more. So we are gonna reduce the amount first and get rid of these unnecessary chamfers that are happening. So we are going to increase the angle, and that solves the issue. And finally close this off with a turtle smooth. And what you'll end up getting is something like this, which is a very beautiful piece right there. And don't forget, you can always add edit poly in any stack anywhere you want, or if you want to do any tweaks. So I feel like doing some tweaks here. So I'm gonna just quickly select this and do a quick inset like this, and one final inset, and just do a collapse. So collapse will be right here. So this converges all the point into a single point. Do the same right here and collapse. So that just collapse everything to a single point. That's it. Once you're done, go up, and this is your end result. So you have a beautiful looking top piece as well. Let's give it a dark gray color, so just so that it stands out a little bit. And there. So this is where we can say now we are finally done with our Mijolnir model. So I hope you learned some awesome stuff, and you create some awesome results using these techniques, and have fun, explore, and yeah, just enjoy the whole Max modeling tools, the Edit Poly modeling tools. And I'll see you in the next one during the unwrap and texturing process. Thank you.